Yo, I'm FX Toycat, and a brand new leak has just dropped, except unlike the Badgerman flowers or the Firefly pigs, this one is in the actual game files already, and so this brand new HUD and these brand new container UIs are reasonably certain to be implemented into the game, which has caused a lot of panic amongst the Java players in the community, but I want to share some evidence that this won't be happening over there, as well as some news about when this will be hitting Bedrock, and indeed some other exclusive UI tweaks you might not have known existed in the game, even if you play it like myself. First though, Happy New Year everybody! Minecraft are officially back from their holidays sooner than expected, which is great news for anyone expecting to hear about the spring drop on January the 8th, as the leaks expect, but also interestingly enough, King Dark shared over the holiday season a brand new look at what the UI is going to look like, and this was found by data mining the game. So leak is inaccurate because Minecraft themselves put these in the game files, you can verify that, and King Dark has simply put them into the game to show us what the brand new HUD would look like, but also what the brand new inventory and barrel will look like, and then also the shulker box, the ender chest, and the chest. As you can see, all four of those are color coordinated, which is a big change from the current system, where every single container type, regardless of which variety it is, looks exactly the same with only one exception, and that's the labeling in the top left, which is editable with an anvil, by the way. But the other thing that's interesting is that right now your hotbar is below your inventory, which is directly below the container you're using. There is this small separation, which is just big enough to type the word inventory, but mostly you can see it's vertically stacked, which might be handy for people playing in, like TikTok format, we can call it, but 99.9% of players, especially on Bedrock, are not playing vertically and have a widescreen device, be it a TV or their phone or anything else like that, and so a vertically stacked inventory isn't very efficient. Fun fact, this is actually why the Bedrock inventory is already horizontally stacked. You might not think about this, but look in the Bedrock inventory right now, and you can see, oh yeah, this whole screen is over here to the left of the main screen. Indeed, this is also how the recipe book works on Java, but it's open by default on Bedrock, and so as you can see, a wide inventory is already here, and so why, when we add a brand new set of chests, do we put it up here? It doesn't make any sense except for the fact that it's already that way on Java, and as we all know, Minecraft, Bedrock, and Java are going towards perfect feature parity, but something excluded from that is the menus. This is something we can tell because menus on Bedrock and Java have been diverging for quite some time, something I can prove quite easily by just looking at the inventory. Fun fact, the inventory on Bedrock changed a few years ago, it's been like most of a decade now, but when you press Y or X, or indeed E to open your inventory, you'll see that it actually pops up from the bottom here. On Java, this is really jarring if you haven't ever played Java. On Java, it immediately appears and the rest of the screen goes slightly dark, but on Bedrock, it pops up from the bottom over about 5 or 10 frames, and also the screen kind of fades into darkness, and you can see the position and coordinates and stuff fade around with it. This is a very interesting difference, if you ask me, and it's one that is kind of proof that Minecraft is moving its UI systems quite far apart on Bedrock and Java. That's why they've never brought the creative inventory screen, one of the biggest differences, into parity, and that is why they've been working on something called Ore UI. Ore UI is the name for the brand new user interface, which has been worked on by Mojang for the Bedrock edition of the game ever since 2018, when this brand new menu was revealed. As you can tell from the very beginning, it has been made with Bedrock in mind because the Java version does not have achievements, and it certainly doesn't have a store of any form, except for that one April Fool snapshot, but it also doesn't have a way to access the skins from inside the game, so here's the proof that the very original version of it was made with Bedrock in mind. But even deeper than that, you can see that every part of Ore UI that has come out has been just for Bedrock. Here is the brand new achievements menu. It was the first part we ever publicly saw. It was in 2021, fun fact. But we've also seen a brand new realm screen, a brand new world screen, but also a brand new create new world screen, and this has finally rolled out to 100% of players as of December 2024. The fact that we're talking about a new UI which was first introduced in 2018 lets you know that this is very old Minecraft news. The reason why so many people are scared of it is because they think it's a brand new development, but no, it's something Minecraft have been working on for a very, very long time, and we've even seen a cheat sheet of what the brand new design language is meant to be, because in 2021, the co-lead for the new UI tweeted out this, it's the design system, showing all of the design language that they're looking to use when redesigning that user interface. However, we are just now talking about the user interface, which applies to the menu, which is the first thing you do when you load up Minecraft, but it also represents less than 1% of the time you spend on the game, I hope that's how you play Minecraft at least. And so Minecraft are moving towards altering the user interface for the game itself, and I want to show some interesting examples of what they might be doing there in addition to what we've seen. But first I just want to prove to you that Minecraft, Bedrock, and Java do in fact have distinct menus, and not just by saying, look, it looks so different, Java doesn't look like this, but instead by showing you some secrets of Minecraft Bedrock Edition, some things available in the menus here which are not available on the Java version. And I'm not going to nitpick and say like, well, the realms look different. You can see exactly when someone's been on their realm. Look, I haven't played my Let's Play world in literally a year right now. Very, very crazy, that is to say. But you know, I think that's an unfair example because it's a feature that's not available in one. But let's talk about literally the same worlds, things you would expect to be available. If you play the Java version and you have a world, you can recreate the world from the seed. You can see the seed right here, but on Bedrock, you have to copy the seed and then you can take it over to a brand new world. On the Java version, however, you can't just duplicate your world. You have to duplicate the folder inside your game files. You can do it on Bedrock immediately right here. You can also export your world, which is how I have Dash's survival world hanging out right here. It's for an employee realm review I want to do. But that's how the fact that I have the ability to do that on Bedrock and have had the ability for most of a decade again is proof that they are just treating menus as something they are not going to standardize between versions. And indeed, even within Bedrock, you don't have that export function if you're on a console, and indeed also on Bedrock on a console, you don't have add server. But we could talk about the difference between Bedrock another time. For now, let's jump back into a world and let's show you some interesting examples of how the UI is probably going to change. So like we mentioned, there is the fact that they are changing not just the way that the chest will look to go side by side, not just the fact that it's going to have a brand new set of colors, but indeed there's also the fact that they're going to change the hotbar. Right now you can see from the image the hotbar is going to be a big white blob, which honestly looks negative to some people, but I imagine this is going to be it at 100% transparency, and so instead of having the current hotbar, which let's be honest, it's very lovable, but it's also very confusing. Look at my empty slot over here. Why does it look like there's a sand texture slightly applied? There's just a bunch of needless noise in the current UI, which isn't there, so this is something I can also see them fixing. Whether the UI looks like this or not is a very different question, because even though we've seen this UI, it exists inside the game files, I would like to finish this video with a tiny bit of skepticism and remind you that even though it exists in Minecraft, that's not a guarantee it will be inside of the base game. Unlike the Java edition, where things inside of the game usually make it in there, although there's exceptions like the skis or the rubies, usually Minecraft Bedrock files don't necessarily have to be for the base game because there is the Education Edition, and if I show you this HUD and this chest, you can imagine that perfectly fitting into a version of the game designed to inform, right? I think it makes it much more readable, which is great for people who are playing Minecraft for the first time. I don't think it's a guarantee that this is just for Education Edition, but I also would say if it's been 2 years and you don't see anything from this, you shouldn't necessarily be surprised. However, I also think it's possible, if not likely, and that's why I'm not that, I wouldn't say this is the most exciting development ever, because it's likely to be a long time till we see anything, and we might not ever see it in the base game, but if we do, something that gets me excited is what about the idea of expanding this idea to blocks like furnaces? There is indeed storage in the furnace, although just 3 slots, or the enchantment table. I've seen expanded GUIs for the Java version that make this look incredible. What if Minecraft actually improved the entire setup? Because right now, again, the entire game is updating and getting bigger and better, but the UI has been the same since the 2009 version of the game, or since a very, very early development phase, which makes it worth mentioning. Is it worth changing that, or is Minecraft one of those games that needs to have the nostalgia to survive? Are there some things that you just can't change in the game? Because I would have said forever that one of those things are, like, Diamond, for example. You can't ever introduce the tier above that, but Netherite was one of the game's best introductions, and so would one of the most important improvements be fixing the user interface more broadly, like they've started to do on Bedrock, fixing the menu screen and the pause and everything like that, like they've started to do on Bedrock, and indeed making containers, etc., that much more exciting. And I guess an even better question would be, if you do this for the Bedrock version alone and allow Java to retain its old format, would that actually represent a giant break in parity? Would it feel a bit like RuneScape and old school RuneScape in a way that isn't actually favorable for Mojang? Well, that's a question I don't necessarily have a great answer to, but what I can tell you is, fun fact, if you, now, because of the most recent Minecraft update, you can break a bunch of blocks with your fist, something you probably did know, but something something you might not have known is you can use any Silk Touch tool on an ender chest and it will break itself now, something that previously didn't happen. Although it takes the time. And so if you watch this entire video and you're a Java player who is now bummed that you don't learn anything that's useful to your version, then this can be that, apparently. Also, yeah, I'm wondering, will the shulker box have a different color based on every single shulker box you open it? Right now, the inventory is purple, but it'd be weird to have a purple, like a GUI for what would be a red shulker box. Will we actually get, like, dozens of different... can you effectively have a dyed, inventory? Well, that's the question we'll be answering when Or UI comes to the Bedrock, main game. But I wouldn't expect that to be this year, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if I were wrong. Speaking of pleasantly surprised if I'm wrong, I would be surprised if more than 1% of you decided to become subscribers. Statistically, after watching a video that is about how many people choose to subscribe, would you like to be in the 1%? Well, I can't do anything about the important part of that, but I can make you in the 1% of ToyCat viewers by hitting subscribe. Or maybe I can't. I'm not going to promise that either. You know, I'll promise that you'll see Minecraft news, indeed including what's happening on the 8th, because fun fact, I moved my flights so that I'm not leaving until the 8th itself now, so that I can be on the ground when the news drops, although it actually is the 8th, so if it drops too late on the 8th, then I might have a problem, but I moved my flights, and hopefully that means that I won't miss the spring drop, but hopefully, you know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!